All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing good. It is now Monday, July 21st. So you can kind of see something that's going on early this morning. You can kind of see. Let me make sure we're muted. Yeah, we are. Okay, good. You can kind of see bond yields had this big dip at around 2 a.m. this morning. This is mostly driven by Japan's yen strengthened this morning as the prime minister vowed to stay on as leader. This is after his ruling coalition lost its majority in Sunday's upper house elections. But yeah, they lost the upper house in the election on Sunday, weakening the prime minister's grip on power, even as he vowed to remain party leader. They were citing a looming tariff deadline with the U.S. One of the biggest winners in Japan, it was the Sansieto party in their upper house election, gaining support with warnings of silent invasion of immigrants and pledges for tax cuts and welfare. Either way, this is seen as a dovish thing. The 10-year Treasury yield decreased pretty quickly down here from 4.42% this morning all the way down to 4.37%. Yeah, so we had good inflation data last week. Christopher Waller said that he's still in favor of resuming interest rate cuts as soon as this month. So let me know how the music is. Let me know if it's too loud. Yeah, we got some music. So NASDAQ's pretty close to all-time highs again. Like if we zoom out here and see all-time highs, which are sitting right around 233, 320s on the NASDAQ. 233, 320.75 is what I'm showing. Let me make sure that's right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. 233.20 on the NQ. So this is the all-time high right here. Put that one on the chart so we can watch it. And we're pretty close to that now, honestly. We're getting up there. I'm almost interested in buying this dip just because of how close we are. Most things are green right now. Like if we take a look at the SPY, it's pretty green. It's at 629s. We take a look at the Q. It's, of course, around the highs of the last few days, but it's pretty green here as well. So, most things are up this morning. Yeah, but the outcome of the Japanese election was seen as a monetary policy win, helping stabilize. Or no, the Prime Minister Shiba vowed to stay on even after they lost the upper house majority yesterday. It was seen as a monetary policy win, which basically helps stabilize markets amid trade tensions and safe haven assets. As a result, global bond demand spiked overnight and yields decreased down to 4.37% right now. Again, reports are suggesting also that like the White House is putting pressure on Fed Powell, both in terms of stepping down as well as, although Trump did say he wasn't going to make him step down, most likely, last week. The newest pressure comes on the facility. Let me see if I can figure it out. I saw a post on it earlier. I saw an article with yeah, we got a lot of news, a lot of earnings coming out this morning, of course. Tomorrow we got Powell speaking. I don't know what happened to this article. I saw it. Deutsche Bank turns neutral from overweight on European equities versus U.S. equities. I'm going to have to go copy and paste all of this and just figure out. Alright, so I might buy this 275 level if we get it. It's going to be exactly 275 though, so I have to wait for like a deeper pullback. Alright, so after a paper reported that Treasury Secretary Bessent told him it would be bad for markets to replace Powell, the president called the story typically untruthful, asserting that people don't explain to me, I explain to them, underscoring his resistance to taking advice on Powell's fate. We had New Zealand, UK housing, and Polish data come out today. Tokenized in Singapore is closing down after failing to secure MAS licensing. Dell also confirmed a breach of test lab systems by WorldLeaks extortion group. Yeah, so we're currently on the Fed blackout ahead of July 30th. Yeah, but doesn't Powell speak tomorrow? Alright, so the president is pushing for 15 to 20% tariff on European goods, according to Commerce Secretary Lutnick is confident a deal will be reached, though, and Europe is preparing a retaliation plan if they don't have a deal by August 1st. There's a possible U.S. president and Chinese PM meeting, or President Xi meeting at APEC. U.S. official in China barred from travel. In South Korea, the trade minister says U.S. tariff negotiations are serious and pledges full effort. In Taiwan, a new trade round with the U.S. is planned. Some other ones too. Alright, let me catch back up on the chat. Sorry, guys. I mean, I do a little bit of both. I try to do both. I want 275 down here. I need to learn to take longer term trades. Yeah, let me get a poll going. Does the NASDAQ 100 close red or green this week? Red, green. We'll just make it easy. Yeah, I'm in crypto. You know, I hold some Bitcoin and some other stuff too. Dogecoin was flying up yesterday. It was up like 15%. CoreWeave is going to offer $1.5 billion in senior notes due 2031. Biogen announces $2 billion manufactured investment in North Carolina's Research Triangle Park in conjunction with its 30th anniversary. Domino's Pizza posted 381 versus 394. They missed. Revenue of 1.145 versus 1.14 expected. So slight miss for EPS. What's up, Faye? Yeah, Bitcoin, if we take a look at it, yeah, 118,795 for Bitcoin futures. Yeah, the newest thing. So the president is supposed to visit the Fed amid a renovation probe. We'll see what happens there. Current administration, led by James Blair, plans to visit the Federal Reserve's Washington headquarters this week to scrutinize its $2.5 billion renovation project. Senate Banking Chair Tim Scott may also join. The allegations are of cost overruns and fraud risk. The renovations went over budget by $700 million from an original $1.9 billion estimate. A lot of people have criticized this as involving ostentatious elements like rooftop gardens, marble, and VIP elevators. Critics argue it may violate federal building protocols. So yeah, my weekend was good, man. All right, so Treasury Secretary Bessent just put out something that said trade talks are moving along, is more concerned with high quality deals than getting them by August 1st. We're not going to rush. Yeah, I mean, we got that going on right now. Yeah, they basically said quality of the deal is important, not timing. This is on CNBC with Bessent. I wanted to buy this dip in the NASDAQ. Didn't really catch it, but it's all good. We did have earnings show up today. Nothing really big, though. Or actually, we had like Domino's and some other small ones. Verizon posted a beat for both EPS and revenue. DPS posted a beat for both EPS and revenue. So this earnings season, most things are beating. It's something that we're seeing a lot. Bessent on European Union said he would imagine they would want to negotiate faster. They've become more engaged regarding the European Union. What's up, Beach Bum? What's up, Sam? I love watching these streams. I appreciate what you do. Thanks, John. Hey, all good, man. Yeah, I mean, I day trade, I swing trade, I invest a little bit. We do a little bit of everything. I invest in crypto. Right now, I'm holding, I've been holding, but Right now I'm in Bitcoin. I'm in XRP. I'm in a bunch of different stuff. All right, so we're getting this pullback here. I might buy this dip. I don't know yet. Let me see. I need 275 even though. Like I need the 200 exponentials right here. I need down here to buy though. Like I'll buy it if it hits here. It also kind of looks bearish though, but I don't mind buying this and looking for a retest up there. So best in on Japan says our priorities are not internal government, but best deals for the U.S. according to the CNBC interview. He said Europe got out of the blocks at slow pace on trade talks. It doesn't have to get ugly with the Europeans, basically, is what he said. Pre-market earnings were mostly good. Mostly good. Verizon showed up at 122 versus 118 for EPS. Revenue of 34.5 versus 33.5 expected, so better than expected EPS and revenue for Verizon. Domino's missed EPS, beat revenue. Cleveland Cliffs beat EPS, beat revenue. HBT Financial beat EPS, beat revenue. Guarantee Bank beat EPS, beat revenue. Ryanair beat EPS, beat revenue. So mostly beats. The only ones that missed are Domino's and ABB, whatever that is. I don't even know what that is. And again, taking a look at rate odds here this morning, still 95.5 basically for a cut in July. In September, it pivots to 60. Really, it pivots to about 63% likelihood of any size cut, about a 37% likelihood of a pause. So, yeah, if we take a look at the dollar here, markets are falling quickly. Dollar is down again today. All right, so here's the dip buy we might be taking here if we can get it. I'm going to buy this dip. Maybe add one more down to 275. Maybe add a little bit more here. A little bit too small of size, I think. Alright, so yeah, we jumped in small. I would have liked a little bit earlier or a little bit better entry, but it's all good. Where's ASML at? It's still down from its big earnings drop. Yeah, reacting negatively. Yeah, so tomorrow we have Jerome Powell speaking at a policy panel, or no, there's something else. Yeah, he does the opening remarks at the Integrated Review of Capital Framework for Large Bank Conference in Washington, D.C. Yeah, I mean, dips are relative. We could have small dips, large dips, 1 tick dips, 1,000 tick dips. Like dips are all relative, you know. And one of the things that I see a lot of people do sometimes is like, I'll be like, hey, I'm buying this dip. They'll be like, oh, this isn't a dip. And it's like, well, it's all relative, you know. I might consider it a dip. You might not. It's okay, you know. All right. We're just being patient in this one. I'll hold it break even now. If it turns on me, we'll get out. But hopefully it continues to rise up to that 200 exponential up there at 87 is what the goal is right now. This week I'm going to work on taking longer term trades. All right, so Brazil's finance minister says they cannot rule out possibility that they will reach August 1st without a response from the U.S. to their proposals. So, that's going on today. Look at that other news. Besant says if we boomerang on August 1st tariffs, higher tariffs could put more pressure on nation. He said on firing Powell and market impact, Powell's term ends in May. Another opens up in January. Yeah. Again, I've said it before. I don't think they're gonna be firing Powell. It's too close to his term ending. They're just gonna wait until his term ends. You know. Besant said I'll be at the Fed Monday night. I'm not sure who the leaker is. And Powell. He said on firing Powell and market impact, I'm not going to deal in hypotheticals. Yeah, I don't think they're going to lay off Powell. I don't think they can easily. It's too close to his term ending. I don't know. I've been in this one for what, like 5 minutes now plus, you know? So I'm trying to take longer term trades. And if I can get into a position that's green and I can cut it break even, that's kind of the goal that I want. Like I want to get in stuff where I have a big enough risk to where I can cut it break even if I really want to and give it a chance to come back up here is what I want. Now it's barring big news coming out and stuff, but yeah, I might have to cut this one. We're right at the break-even spot. Yeah, I gotta cut it. So we got out completely flat there. Powell should. Yeah, I don't know. I might want to jump back in this too. It depends on what this does. Like, I don't want to miss out. I think if we get 275, I'll take it again. But again, y'all yell at me if I'm taking 2 short-term trades today. I want to take longer-term trades today. I've noticed something when I've been trading recently, and it's that a lot of the positions that I get in would have worked if I would have stayed in them. And so I'd love to take longer term positions today. I think 275 is a pretty big support level too. And so I'm going to use some longer term trades. I would like to use 73 as a risk here. And we'll see what happens there. But again, I'm not perfect at it, and so I'm sure it's going to be a struggle for me to sit in positions longer. I'm gonna lock in profit here just because I was really red, or I wasn't red, but I was slightly red, and I'd rather be green on the day. But I'm gonna sit on 1. AMD about to take off again. I'm okay with holding it break even. So like the exception to this rule is like if I'm up enough like this, but then it just for whatever reason turns and goes break even on me, I have to cut it in that situation because that's part of the system. But once I'm in this, I can let it work. I don't want to cut it until it hits, in this situation, 86, like 85 or 86 is what I want to hold this to. At this point in time, I can hold the rest break even and then target 85 and 86, and it's about a 1-to-1 ratio. And so one instance I'm break even but still green overall, and then the other instance I'm much more green, if that makes sense, right? And so this is kind of what I'm testing right now with this. Yeah, it's sideways, but that's kind of what I'm trying to capitalize on. Like, I'm buying it down here and looking for the top of the range up here. It's also there's also all-time highs that are definitely a factor right now. We're close to all-time highs here, and so that's why I'm being a little bit more stubborn at the bottom of this range right now. With that said, though, we might be hitting the break-even level, and maybe I want to give it a little bit of room under the break-even level, just to kind of protect, let it work a little bit more. But I think my break-even level is fine. Yeah, I hear somebody saying gold. Gold is up today. It's at 33.82s right now. 33.82s. Yeah, I'm not really, like, it's just not really my style. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of, oh man, I look the other way, we turn. Yeah, I gotta cut this. Alright, so we're kind of flat on the day now, which is fine, but it's kind of just choppy. But I like these trades, I really do. I like the chance they give me. We'll look for 275 down here. Let me refresh. It says I should refresh for a new version. Alright. But yeah, Open just seems like a penny stock that I'm not really trying to mess with here. You know, like, these are just not really my style. Like, these might make big percentage moves and all this different stuff, and that's great. They're just not really my style. Like, I don't really want something that looks like this. You know what I mean? Like, sure, you could try to capitalize on the spikes here, on this spike, or this spike, or this spike, or whatever spikes, and that's fine, but I don't really want to attack something that's going like this. I'm good, you know, and maybe there's some money to be made, and if there is, make it. I'm not mad at you for it. People are going to be able to do things that I don't necessarily do well or like doing and make money doing them, so it's all love here. Like, make your money, guys. I'm not going to mess with Open. I gave myself a rule a long time ago to stop messing with penny stocks once I blew a count or two when I was first got started trading, and so I just kind of stick with that rule. Like, I'm not going to play with those too much. Like, I would rather, I think I've explained it before, when I swing trade and invest into stocks, you guys have seen me do it. I haven't done it on stream as much recently, but like, you guys see how I do it. Like, I usually look for good companies, Mag 7 companies, S&P 500 NASDAQ companies that have big pullbacks all of a sudden, like what I would consider emotional pullbacks, right? Like, things that pull back emotionally too much. They overreact on the downside, and I would rather buy those and then sit in those and wait for them to rebound, because rebounding after dropping a huge percentage like that is much more of a probability, I think, versus something like this. And if it doesn't work, usually I can hold it long enough, eventually it's going to be green, right? Versus a penny stock where the longer I hold that thing, you know, it could turn and just go down, drop 50, 60, 70%, and then I lose a huge sum of money. And I'd rather just not get involved with that. I'd rather just look for higher percentage, healthier companies to buy the dip in, if that makes sense. I don't really short any of them, but I'd rather look for a higher percentage dips than penny stocks. You know, I just think you're playing with fire doing that. Personally, that's just my own. Again, y'all can make y'all's money and I'm sure some people do it well. Yeah, we're still down here, trending down. I'll wait. Yeah, well, they got the risk of delisting, T1 halts, T2 halts, volatility trading pauses, just all the crazy stuff that happens. You know, they could hit you with offerings at the top. They could do all kind of stuff that make it really low edge investing in them. You know, and I think most people that promote that are usually like, I don't know. Not everybody. I'm sure some people do it well. Huge wins though if you get it right. Yeah, but huge win, you know, huge losses if you get it wrong is the point. Palantir was once a penny stock. Sure, I mean, listen, there's stocks that have the potential to do big, right? The stock y'all are talking about, yeah, Opendoor might be the future, though. It could be. Like, I'm not even against Opendoor. Like, looking at Opendoor, and I've learned a little bit about this before, and I'm not saying it is. I'm going to preface this with a big old disclaimer. Not an investment professional. I have no freaking idea what I'm talking about, especially with OPEN. Do not copy me. I have no freaking idea what I'm talking about. You might lose money, especially in stocks like this, right? Not an investment professional. I'm not liable. If you lose, some of the links we post are affiliate links, you know, all that good stuff. But with that said, Opendoor, if you look at what it actually is, just to say some good things, since maybe I'm a little bit too negative here, Opendoor is a platform that allows people to buy and sell homes online quickly, right? So it's kind of like a marketplace for homes online that you can buy and sell fast, which is kind of a cool concept. Like for somebody, like basically you can trade homes, kind of. Homeowners can instantly input their property details and receive near instant cash offers. You can do house flipping there. It buys homes, make light repairs, and resells them for a profit. You know, so I would say it's kind of like the Carvana for homes a little bit, you know. They do mortgage, title, escrow services. They partner with Zillow. The biggest risk to stuff like Open is if Zillow starts to get involved in something like this, right? Like, this is a new sector. We don't know how healthy or good this sector is going to be. The biggest risk to something like OPEN is if Zillow starts to pivot to doing this themselves, right? And Zillow's a much bigger company. They're going to be much bigger than them. That's the risk, right? If we look at it like Fidelity, Zillow, apartments.com, you know, whomever, if they start doing this, that's a risk to Open. It also this is another stock that tends to do well with lower rates and stuff like that. So, you know, y'all just be careful. Yeah, like, I'm not against it, right? I'm not against the company. I'm against the volatility of the stock. You know, I'm against this. Okay, here, I'm going to buy this dip now. This is my third attempt here. We're basically flat on the day. We're right around my entry of 275 that I wanted. So we're going to take two contracts here and see if we can finally get a win. We're basically flat on the day, so it could be worse. Bloomberg says high grade U.S. primary market sees 7 U.S. issuers reportedly looking to raise capital during today's session. Forecast consensus sees between 25 to 30 billion. But yeah, what I'm nervous about with this stock is this is what I'm nervous about. This long-term trend. Good companies a lot of the time don't have long-term trends like this. You look at Palantir, people talk about Palantir. I mean, I guess Palantir did trend negatively for years and years. You know. But still, there should be worry, but maybe it does good. I don't know. Zillow tried and failed. Yeah, it doesn't mean they're not going to try again, though. And I think the bigger concern is that if one of these big boy companies tries and fails at this, what makes this little company succeed at it? You know, maybe they have less expenses, maybe they have less margins. I would imagine it's kind of the opposite, though, because they have less infrastructure. And so if Zillow, one of the biggest real estate companies in the world, tried at this and failed, the question has to be, is the world ready for this? Do we have enough interest in this to succeed? That's the risk. I don't know if it's true. Again, I'm not saying that's correct. What I'm saying is that's the risk. We'll see. BBAI. Yeah, BBAI looks okay. Again, a little bit cheap of a stock for me, but the trend looks okay. It's getting up there towards highs. Yeah. Check back up some other news. Yeah, so Treasury Secretary Bassett says we are on the cusp of productivity boom amid AI developments. He said a decrease in Fed rates would unlock the mortgage market. If inflation numbers are low, we should be cutting rates. On China, he said the elephant in the room with China is overcapacity. 80 or 90 senators want to pass a Russia sanctions bill, and I would urge Europe to follow the U.S. if we implement secondary tariffs. All right, so here's this bounce level here. I'll tell you this, if we bounce right at this level, it's going to make me realize I need to really wait for these entries. I'm not saying we do, but all of these trades are so small that I've taken this morning. Like, the range has got to be pretty small. But if we bounce exactly here, it's going to make me realize I need to really wait for these entries a little bit more. Well, there's the bounce. I should wait for my entries. Yeah, I should definitely wait for my entries. Look at that bounce. Hey, what's up, B? Look at that spike. So we got like a decent spike. Where's Nvidia at this morning? 172. Nvidia is almost flat. Tesla up though, 335s. See, it bounced exactly at my level too. I'm gonna take one off just to lock in profit here, and then let the rest, you know, keep it small. I'm kind of experimenting a little bit more here. So. I took that one off at exactly the right time. Yeah, we had some earnings this morning. We had like Domino's, nothing major. Nothing like big, but we had Domino's, Verizon, Cleveland Cliffs, Roper, and a couple other ones. Yeah, I'm still pretty much flat on the day. I'm trying to get used to taking positions. Again, one of the things I do really bad is waiting for my entries here. Like, one of the things I see really often is that these levels that I draw on my charts work incredibly well. Even if I just attacked it to here, I'd be at a really good spot. And so the levels that I use, I have to be patient with them. And if that means I miss out on trades, it means I miss out on trades. But that's something that I think I'm doing wrong recently, is I need to wait for these, because these have a super high percentage of holding, at least short term, like a small bounce up 5 to 10 ticks. And so if I can get in that and then maybe hold it break even, once I get 5 to 10 ticks in profit, I think that sets me up to really do well. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with this. Alright, there we go. Nice. Look, I'm going to cut this up here. This is a big, strong tick amount. We're right around the 200 exponential. That's really where I wanted to cut it. So we're nicely green. So MicroStrategy purchased 6,220 Bitcoins. Johnson & Johnson. So we got the bounce exactly at 275. Like, I think I can't be too strict, but I think I need to buy it in a range like this, where I get like 1 to 2. I'm okay. It's okay if I buy it 1 to 2 ticks higher. I can't buy it 4 to 5 higher like I did right here. I bought it like right there. That's a little bit too high above my level here. Really, it was like right here. But yeah. MicroStrategy purchased 6,220 Bitcoins. Let me see if I get some more information on that purchase. Tesla faces challenges ahead of Q2 earnings, says Bank of America. Bank of America is warning Tesla's Q2 results may disappoint due to tariffs and weak deliveries, putting it in a tough spot than Detroit peers. While Tesla builds cars in the U.S., and this is a post by Walter Bloomberg. While Tesla builds cars in the U.S., its reliance on China-made batteries exposes it to trade risks. Looking ahead, Bank of America expects mixed second half results with potential Q3 demand, but Q4 pressure from expiring IRA incentives. Tesla's recent robotaxi launch in Austin supported its FSD goals for 25, but has little immediate financial support. Bank of America raised its Tesla target to 341 from 305 on a stronger cash position and updated valuation, maintaining a neutral rating. But yeah, MicroStrategy bought 6,220 Bitcoin for $739.8 mil at $118,940 a coin and achieved a yield of 20.8% year to date in 2025. They hold 607,770 Bitcoin acquired for about $44 billion at about $71,756 a coin. MicroStrategy at 430s. Minute chart. Yeah. Yeah, Domino's missed. Yeah, so Domino's missed a little bit. That's all right. Yeah, I've already looked at Open Pew. We talked about it a little bit already. Yeah, next week is incredibly busy. Wednesday, GDP. I'm trying to see what we got the week after next. So next week's busy. We got earnings and a whole bunch of stuff. This week's a little slower, but we got like Powell tomorrow. We got ISM services. Alright, so we're dipping down. We're at 375 here. We're back down to this level. Should I buy it again? I don't know. I don't know. This is a big red. Brazil's finance minister says the government does not foresee a change to 26 fiscal target. I think I'm just going to wait now. We've tested this level enough, I think. Yeah, I think we're very close to like this all-time high level up here, which is technically at like 320, 320. Yeah, so I'm looking at let me pull Discord up. Yeah, so Stellantis warns of 2.7 billion loss on write-downs from tariffs. Stablecoin bill was signed into law this morning, helping crypto. MicroStrategy bought more Bitcoin. Bitcoin currently sitting at 118s. Yeah, these are the four big levels I have on my chart, like 310, 288, 275, and 250. Turn this down a little bit. Tilray busting out. Yeah, I mean, I see TLRY here. Let's see if this 275 level holds resistance. Tilray's had this thing was once $250 a share, $300 a share. I remember it back in 2018. The problem is we still have no progress on federal legalization. And so, too much lobbyists against it. Is it Fed week again? No. So Fed week is next week. This week we don't have anything going on. We got Powell speaking tomorrow, kind of, but I don't think he's gonna say anything big. Like, we'll stream it, but I don't think he's gonna say anything big. Yeah, bond yield's also down a little bit, which is better for interest rates. Let's see if 275 rejects right here. Yeah, we got Tesla and Google earnings this week as well. So Tesla up a little bit, but a lot of analysts think they're going to do poorly. But Tesla had a pretty good few days. Good weekend? Yeah, it was good. I slept. We just got back from Michigan, so I had to sleep a little bit. I had to take a few days and just kind of try to get back to normal. All right, we're at 276 now. We're back over 275. That just means that I don't know what's going to happen here. I'm just going to wait. Again, like I always try to explain to people, if it's the first time testing a level that I have on my chart where we haven't been back there in a while, I like buying that bounce, right? If it's like the second or third time, like here, I'm not really interested in playing this bounce. And once we break under it, especially go back over it, I don't know what we're going to do then. Maybe I'll short like a rejection of 288 or something like that, but instead I think I'm just going to wait. Yeah, I'm in some crypto too, you know. No robots, no taxis, no more batteries. Doesn't look too promising. Yeah, I guess. You know. Hey, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much. I'm looking at other news. Yeah, so Brazil's leader said we could redirect more than half of what we export to the U.S. to other countries, but that takes time. Again, Bank of America is worried about Tesla. Does Tesla beat or miss their earnings on Wednesday? They got earnings on Wednesday. Do they beat or miss? Let me know. Yeah, Tesla's up a lot ahead of earnings too. 335s. Tesla missing pump as usual. I don't know. That's possible. I know we saw Tesla deliveries at the beginning of this month where they missed slightly. I would say they were pretty flat, but they missed slightly, and the market went out. Tesla went up a lot. I think it was around July 2nd. So we can take a look at that reaction here. Let me look to see what Tesla did on their earnings around July 2nd. Let me find it. July 2nd was right here. I don't know. They went down on the 3rd. But they've since rebounded back up there at 335s now. They missed completely. I don't think they missed completely. I think they came in right around as expected for their deliveries. Let me look this up. You know, I think they came in right around expected. Where'd my AI systems go? All right, so Tesla deliveries came in at 384,000, down from 444,000 in quarter two. They produced 410, leaving an inventory build of around 26,000 units that quarter. Quarter over quarter deliveries rose 14% from quarter one. Still had a year-over-year decline. They expected 370 to 394. They ended up posting 384. So they came in mostly flat, I would say. They delivered 384 vehicles in quarter two, up from quarter one, but slightly down from last year. When did they do this? When did this come out? July 2nd, yeah, okay, same date. And here's July 2nd right here. So July 2nd. They mostly went up. So like here's July 2nd right here. So Tesla had to push up on July 2nd from these numbers. We'll see what they do. Again, their earnings are on Wednesday after the bell today. Or after the bell. Wednesday. Yeah, I mean, Tesla might be down on the year. I'm talking about in the last... I'm talking about this month. Right? Like, I could say the same thing and say Tesla... You know... Since 2020, Tesla's up big percentages. I could always isolate a time frame to try to argue against anything somebody's saying. If somebody says Tesla's weak, I can say, oh, look at 2020 to now. Or whatever. But I'm talking about just this month. This month, Tesla's up a pretty decent amount from July. Too much headwind? Maybe, yeah. I feel you. They guided low. Yeah, and look at that Google. The other earnings release this week is Google. G-O-O-G. Google's been interesting as well. Here's a 4-hour chart. They're green since March. All-time highs for Google are 208s. They're at 185s. 187s right now. How do you guys think Google's going to do? Where's Dogecoin at this morning? Yeah, Dogecoin's at 27 cents again. Its recent highs are about 27 cents, so... Google head and shoulders for me. Yeah, I like Google as a company. Just their quantum chips look strong. Gold's pushing up right now. Look at gold. It's at 33.86 as we speak. 33.86. It's pretty strong. Yeah, I feel you. Still pretty slow in the NQ. In the SPY. Tom Lee is predicting Bitcoin hits 250,000 by the end of the year. He said it should be worth over $1 million in the next few. Brazil's leader said we could redirect more than half of what we export to the U.S. to other countries, but that takes time. Yeah, of course it does. Gold's pumping up, though. Dogecoin is up. XRP is up. Slightly today, 350s. S&P had more future contracts sell last week than buy. Smart money is distributing. Tesla earnings were bad last time. Are people expecting different? Are earnings the same every quarter? Not usually. I mean, they could be, but earnings change, man. Some quarters are good, some they're bad. Nobody really knows what they're gonna do. We can only guess. 2 months left in the 4-year cycle. This recent crypto bill will make it plunge. Look at gold. Gold's shooting up right now. It's at 33.87s. Tesla robotaxi start is looking pretty bad. Insiders know. Who here's an insider? Not me. Maybe you're right. I don't know. You might be right. I don't know. All I know is I'm definitely not an insider. You know. I can pretend I am to try to get views, but I'm not. I don't know what's going on in Tesla. I'm watching though. Yeah, again, MicroStrategy purchased another 6,200 plus Bitcoins between July 14th and yesterday. SOFR rate 4.3% versus 4.34% on the 17th on Friday. Look at gold. Gold all-time highs are just over 3,500 too right here. But look at gold's trend. Looks strong. Yeah, let me see. So, no, that's me here, Ty. When I win, I'm a genius. I take one loss, worst trader ever. You know that's how it goes. When it's like this, silence. When I have this, they're like, you suck. You know, that's how it goes. What's up, Guts? All right, chat. It's an interesting day today. A lot of like the Nasdaq's not really moving, but it's close enough to all-time highs to make it somewhat interesting, I think. SPY is as well. Big earnings this week. Powell the week after, and rate decisions the week after. You guys red or green so far today? Would you buy gold at these levels? I mean, long-term gold's probably fine right here. Short-term, you never know. It might crash for the next 5 years, 8 years, 9 years. But long-term gold's probably going to continue to be pretty solid. There's too much industry backing, and it's one of the most long-term precious metals. It's going to be fine no matter what long-term. Although I'm not an investment professional. Not liable if you lose money. So would I buy gold here depends on my time frame. If I'm planning to hold it for 20 years, sure. If I'm planning to swing trade gold, essentially, no. It's too high. But yeah, I said that around 2000, 2100, so what do I know? You know, with regard gold, definitely was wrong about gold. So I mean, yeah. Alright, so we're sitting over 275 now. 200 exponential is kind of following us down, though, the longer we're here. Gold's pushing up. Tesla's green. Alright, so activist Elliott Management boosts stake in data center real estate investment trust. Equinix, EQIX, Bloomberg reports. Those paper millionaires are about to get wiped out. You know, like, Jack, I hear people make these doom and gloom predictions all the time, brother. And I've seen them for years and years and years. Like, people said this back here, you know, and I think it has to do with mostly confirmation bias. Like, people said it here. They said we were going to keep dropping more. They said it back here. They said we were going to keep dropping more. We had one of the strongest bull runs in history follow it. And so I think people who miss out on these type of booms naturally think that we're going to crash just in confirmation bias, right? Like, same thing with here. People that miss out on these booms naturally think we're going to crash. People that, you know, people that miss out on these booms naturally think we're going to crash. And maybe we will crash, but generally they get bought up pretty quick. Crashes typically get bought up. A prime example of this is this right here. This was earlier this year. We dropped 27% in the NASDAQ. You know, 20-something percent in the S&P. Got bought up really quickly. And so, I mean, we can say doom and gloom, the market's, it's the end of the world and all this other stuff. If that is true, we got a lot bigger problems than what our investments are doing, just to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I think it has to do with how easily influenced are you? You know, I think if somebody's really easily influenced, they might think we're going to crash every year. You know, they might think that it's the end of the world. They might think that this time's different. You know, we got to look at over a century of market data. And one of the things that's really clear is that these big corrections, crashes get bought up. You know, sometimes it takes them a while to get bought up. Sometimes it doesn't. In general, though, they almost all get bought up. And it's all good, guys. It's all love here. I'm not... Maybe you're right. I might be wrong. Maybe I'll eat my words. It's possible, for sure. All I know is that if we start falling down, that's my time to buy more. You know? Weekly overbought. Yeah, I mean, look. I'm not saying we're not due for a small correction. What I'm saying is that we're not due for some end of the world situation. And if we are, we got a lot bigger problems than investments. You know? And so I don't think it matters anyway. Yeah, I'm not really interested in buying anything up here. We got earnings season, though. Not unless I'm already in some stuff. Being early to plays usually feels wrong at first. Yeah. Alright, guys, we got about 800 here. I appreciate the love, guys. Thanks so much. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Are we in sub-only mode? We should be. Let me make sure. Yeah, we are. Good. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. So DJT announced purchases for Bitcoin Treasury reaching $2 billion. A lot of people are following Michael Saylor's lead here. When the S&P 500 crashed from its all-time highs in 1964, it took 27 years to recover. Yeah, I mean, that might be true. But I mean, even still, eventually, if you DCA into it, it won't freaking matter anyway. Alright, I don't think the market crashed in 1964 from all-time highs. Market crashed in 1964 was a pretty bullish year for the market. The S&P opened up at $70 roughly. Closed the 1964 year at about $88. Pretty big percentage, honestly, at the time. Over 10% for sure. So I'm looking at 1964. I don't see some big crash that took us all-time highs. You talk about 1929? You know. $1966. In 1966, we hit highs of $94.68 roughly. We had broken those highs of $98.64 by 1968. It took 2 years for us to break all-time highs in that situation. You know. So again, I mean, look. Again, I'm trying to like back check what you're saying, but I don't see that. Biggest crash that we had around then was the Black Monday of 1988. And Black Monday got bought up really, really quickly. I would argue the biggest crash that took us the longest to come back from was 2000. Right, 2000 we crashed pretty heavily, but it wasn't really too like what happened in 2000 is that we crashed, and then what happened in 2008 is we crashed again. You know, and that's why it took us so long to come back from it. All right, so JD has reportedly purchased a majority stake in Kaibo for $509 million. Nasdaq's starting to fight its way back up. But yeah, we didn't get some crazy crash in 1967, 1966. Not really. If anything, we had a pretty bull run. You might be talking about 1929, which was about 100 years ago. It's the largest crash in history. You know, and maybe we'll get unlucky and have one of those in our lifetime. I don't know. But I would like to think we put some pitfalls in place to avoid a crazy, scary crash like that lasted so long anyway. But yeah, I mean, right. I mean, Joel, that's what I just said. You know, I'm still looking for your 1968 crash scenario, brother, but it's all good. We're just going to glide over that. Yeah, but again, I explained why 2000 was a little bit worse than most of the other ones. Again, let me show you guys what I'm actually looking at here. Here's the SPY. Here's 2000. 2000, we got two different things. We got .com crash, boom, here, .com crash. And then as we were starting to rebound, that got bought up pretty quickly too. By like 06, 07, we were back close to all-time highs again. And this was like a big percentage crash. And then by 2008, we got another one. And so we got two crashes within a 10-year period. Just unlucky, but... And it could happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. What I'm trying to say is that if we look back at this point in time, we've already had like a little mini crash this year. We've already had like a crash this year. We dropped over 20%. A lot of people are going to consider that a crash. We also had a similar thing happen in 2022. We had a similar thing happen in 2020. All right. I would love to think that we're not going to crash 5 times in 5 years, you know. But most of the time when we have like crashed in the last 5, it's gotten bought up pretty quickly. Yeah, 1987 crash got bought up really quick, you know. Like, look, 1987. I mean, it was a nasty crash for sure, but it got bought up really quick. All right, so we just test that 200 exponential. We're over 275 now. Yeah, here's 1987. You can see how quickly this thing got bought up. We crashed, and then by like 1988, 1989, we were back up close to highs. Everybody was back in their bull run of things and business as usual. Verizon said wireless markets remain competitive. I'm not investing in Verizon, bro. The problem with Verizon and other companies like this is that their margins are getting worse. Long-term trends are crap. Nobody wants to lock themselves into some super long phone contract anymore. You don't need to. You can buy month to month and get $60 a month to month. It's cheaper. No contract, you know. Like, I was trying to buy my daughter a phone, and we went into AT&T, and she wanted my social. She wanted all this different stuff, even, and it was going to take hours. Eventually, we were just like, no, we're going to just continue using our month-to-month prepaid. Like, we don't need, like, what's the what's the benefits of this contract? Like, you get all our data, we don't really get anything better than what we're doing now. It just doesn't make any sense. And I think a lot of mobile carriers are going to run into that issue where people don't really want to, like, it's too competitive now. And to a certain extent, some of these companies are the ones offering the month-to-month prepaid contracts, but I just don't like, I think they're going to lose margins. Their margins are going to get worse over time. I'm just not really interested in buying up any phone carrier. I think even like Xfinity, Comcast, Internet, like, people are using streaming now. It's just not the same as it once was. It's not as competitive as it once was. All right, so the Indian trade team is now back to India. Deal with the U.S. is likely by September, October. Well, that's past August. Has it really, Pawn? Pawn said the S&P 500 is gone. 17 sessions without a move of 1% in either direction. The longest stretch of relative tranquility since December. No, I mean, yeah, it was definitely a bunch of sketchiness for sure, Lee. I'm not saying the 2008 crash was unlucky. What I'm saying is that it was unlucky for investors. You know. Yeah, really, I mean, we're pretty flat again today. But there's a drop. I kind of want to short this now at the 275 level. Should I? Again, I need exactly. Actually, I feel like I'm within a tick away from it. Yeah, maybe I should have. ETH is pumping. Yeah, ETH is up today. ETH looks good. New York Fed node bids. Yep. Again, the India trade deal. India trade team back to India. Deal with us. Deal with US is likely by September, October. We got Canadian PPI data show up. Canadian PPI showed stronger than expected. Higher inflation than expected. Also, check out TopStep if you haven't already. No PDT rule on futures. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, gold, some currencies. Zero commission on TopStep X. You can get started for $50. If you're good enough to pass it, you can start taking withdrawals if you build up some profit once you're funded. But you get started for $50. They give you a 50K demo. They test your skill. You pass the test. They fund you. You get to keep your first 10K once you're funded. If you can build up profit, you get to keep your first 10K, 90% split afterwards. So it's the best of both worlds. It's limited risk at $50 a month start for the base one. 90% split your first 10K in profit once you're funded. Greatest way to get started learning to day trade, in my opinion. No PDT rule. Great way to learn. Patterns are very similar to blue chip stock patterns. Just a great way to learn when most day traders lose money. I'll put the link up if you want to check it out. They're an affiliate or sponsor of mine. I get paid by them. I'm biased. Someone say I'm the top 3 most biased trader ever. If you want to check them out, here's the link. I'll pin it to the top of the chat as well. Great way to help support the channel. Stellantis CFO says FX headwinds weighed in on the first half, results by just under €1 billion. I should have shorted this level. Remember, I was talking about shorting 275 here. It hurts a little bit. Kind of mad about it now, but that's okay, I guess. That's all good. Yeah, I'm sure with the market going up, or with market going down, gold's probably pushing up right now. Yep. almost at 3400s. We're about $105 an ounce away from all-time highs for gold. $50K would mean 2,000 loss. Short of the wrong account? Yeah, sorry to hear, bro. All right, chat. 45 minutes until the opening bell. We'll see what we get. We'll see if we can do anything good. I need to wear my glasses. I'm trying to read this. Well, that means you get 50K in buying power to trade with. Even if it's 2K, that's still a pretty good deal. Yeah, I'm still mad about 275. I should have taken it. Next level I have is 250. That's way down there. I think I just got to be patient. We might have another level here, I would say, at like 265 right here. Right around 265. And look at that. I didn't even see this, to be honest. But still a little bad about it, but that's all right. So Dustin Poirier had his last fight. He said he won. I don't know, man. I mean, I would give it to Max. Yeah. AI videos are getting out of control too, man. All right, so now we're breaking under 265. We got 250 down here. All-time highs in the NQ are still pretty close to us, though. Yeah, DJT bought a bunch of Bitcoin. No, I didn't watch that, Sam. I don't usually watch boxing. Boxing is too little action usually, and decisions are questionable. Like I'll let my curiosity get the best of me, and I'll tune into like the Tyson Paul fight, or you know. But I'm not really a big boxing fan, to be honest. Does Tesla have bad earnings and then skyrocket again? I don't know. Would you consider someone who can make $100 from 1,000 using whole shares consistently a good trader, or just average? What's the time frame? If they can make 100 from 1,000 in 10 years, it's not really that good. It's 1%. If they can make it in 1 year, that's 10%. If they can make it in a month, you know, if you extrapolate it, that's 120%. You know, like it depends on which. It depends on what time frame. You know, I'll tell you this: if you keep trying to make 10% on $1,000 account and day trading intraday, you're probably going to lose that account eventually, regardless of how well you do. Like, the problem is that you need a large sample size, and so if you can make 10%, if you try to make 10% daily or even weekly, you're almost certainly going to destroy your entire account eventually, regardless of how well you do in the beginning. The problem is that people take big gambles with $1,000 account. They risk it. They make 10%. You know, they make 5%, 10%. 1 week or 2 weeks, but they're risking their whole account to do this, right? And so they're like, oh man, I'm a genius, I'm making 10%. The problem is that if they continue that behavior, their whole account goes bye-bye a large majority of the time. And so it depends on the time frame, you know. You can try to make 10% regularly in $1,000 account. I think if it's day trading short term, you're going to destroy that account most likely eventually. Maybe not, but I would say a majority of the accounts. I don't watch wrestling. No offense to the wrestler watchers, but I don't watch wrestling. I used to watch it when I was younger. I had some good times watching it, but I watch MMA mostly now, if we're talking about combat sports. That's exactly what happened in my first 2 accounts. Listen, that's what happens to most people, I would say. Why is it always market chaos? Because the market's chaotic right now. I would say the economy, like, you got the president, you got Jerome Powell, you got rates, you got all this different stuff going on in markets. So yeah. I also just don't feel like creating another thumbnail, to be completely honest. Boxing requires more skill. I disagree. There's more variables in MMA than there are in boxing. I'm not arguing that boxers have better striking or have better boxing than a lot of MMA fighters. That's true. But if you put a boxer and an MMA fighter in a ring, most of the time, if, you know, depends, I guess, on who it is. 50K to 200K then 0. Yeah, that's what happens. That's my point. Like, don't try to make 10% a day. That's stupid. You're not going to. I get it. Your favorite guru told you could be rich if you buy his course and make 10% daily. Most of the time, you're just going to lose your account. Trade small. Nah, we don't really have any economic reports today. Not really. Gold up to 33.95s. Yeah, I mean, maybe I should have watched this, Sam. But it's all good. We all have our interests. Mine aren't really boxing. And besides, I'm a blue belt in jiu-jitsu and BJJ, so like I'm biased towards MMA for that reason. Domino's Pizza CFO says they have not seen any material impact thus far from global macro or geopolitical uncertainty. Stay away from TT and make $1 million every 3 months. BS. Yeah. Like, I saw somebody like post this video a long time ago on TT, and they were like, look, if you could just make 5% a day, and they did the math behind it, and it's like 5% a day. The best investors make, what, 20% a year? But look, guys, if you just make 5% a day, you know, say you got a $100,000 account, man, just make 5%, guys, daily. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20. You know, in 20 days of trading in a month, you'll make $265,000 from 100K. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. In 40 trading days, you'll make 700K. You'll be the richest person in the world within, what, 2 years, 3 years, something like that. It's just a ridiculous expectation for somebody to put out there. Oh, just make 5% a day. The problem is people that don't understand, they eat it up. They're like, oh, 5% a day. All I got to make is 5% a day. It's like, yeah, it's never going to freaking happen. If somebody had 5% a day system, again, I've said this a million times. I'll say it again. Goldman Sachs will pay you billions of dollars right now for that system. You know why Goldman Sachs ain't out here handing out billions? Because a system like that doesn't really exist. If it did, you know, they would pay big money for it. But sure, Sarah on TikTok says make 5% a day. You know, it must be legit. Verizon CFO says the upgrade to 2025 FCF was driven by an estimated 1.5 to 2 billion benefit from recently enacted tax legislation. Yeah, crypto maybe, but even crypto, you're gonna be taking some risk to make that 5% a day. Eventually, it's not gonna work. I like Tyson Fury. I just think, yeah, 1% a month's more reasonable. Sure, you could try 1% a month, probably fine. You could probably do that if you're smart enough. Powell does the opening statements for some conference tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning. I think it's 8:30. It might be 9:30. Let me see. $8:30 in the morning tomorrow. So 8:30 Eastern. All right, look at the NASDAQ tumble here. If we hit 250, I'm buying it. All right, we're getting close. I need within 1 cent, I said. Okay. All right, there we go. I'm in 4 contracts here. Close enough to my level. Let's see if 250 holds. Look at the bounce exactly at 250 though. See, it might not hold now. I got in a little bit early again. I needed to just wait. We hit exactly my level now. Luckily, we got a cushion on the day already, but that's some bearish action. Alright, I gotta cut this just because it looks like there might be some news coming out that's dragging the market down this much all of a sudden. There, we cut some of it. Yeah. It looks like some type of news came out. Let me see if I can find anything. Maybe not. Maybe this is just the one time my level doesn't get respected. We also got this level down here at 242. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of red, though. SPY coming down. I don't really see anything moving markets, though. If you guys see something, let me know. RTX need to deal with, which involves sending 2 Patriot systems. Let me check out this dude. I see some stuff about the Germany deal. Nothing else though. But Neo is actually pretty solid MMA fighter. I like watching his fights. U.S. to launch tariff talks with U.S. very soon. Or U.S. to launch tariff talks with China very soon. That's good. If you stake crypto, it'll bring you max percent in 1 year. Right now, what aren't they paying like 4.5%, which is similar to what treasuries are paying right now? So I mean, you know, I don't know about that. Coldplay. Yeah. Yeah, that Coldplay guy, man. I mean, he deserves it though. Amazon Tesla seems like the biggest momentum for this red. Yeah, Tesla's definitely down. Amazon's down too. I don't see any news though. Let me check Amazon news. Okay. Amazon hiked prices on essentials despite pledge to hold steady amid tariff turmoil. Amazon raised the price on a range of low-cost products by an average of 5% since the initial tariff announcement. So that's that. Tesla. Yeah, if they would have just acted like a normal couple, nobody would be talking about them right now. Instead, they overreacted. And then everybody's like, oh, they're sketchy. Nobody wants to buy when the market's at the top. Yeah. Oh, no, she's wrong too, right? Like, they're both wrong. They're both married. What I noticed is the difference in her picture versus how she actually looked. Her picture's looking like she looks younger in her picture. And then when you look at her in the actual footage, she doesn't look anything like her picture. You know? She recently got promoted to an exec. Bassett calls for a review of the entire Fed Reserve. Yeah, I mean, something happened to drag the market down. I don't really see any big posts, though, or anything like this. There's 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. market here, guys. Let's see what happens. Do I short this 250 level now? I think I could. You also have this isolated low down here at 40 whatever. This level right here. Gold's been pushing up still. Amazon's falling down though on that. The only thing I see for Amazon is the price hike news. And I think that news is already out. Somebody just analyzed it. Morgan Stanley expects a solid quarter from Apple. They say its estimates for Apple are rising ahead of what it expects to be a solid quarter, driven by strong iPhone, iPad, Mac, and favorable FX. With Apple's guidance will likely align with clarity on tariffs, Alphabet ruling, and AI strategy is needed for sentiment to improve. A lot of red showing up though, man. And we kind of broke through a lot of big levels here, so either big money is selling or something's going on. A lot of this is Amazon turning, Tesla turning. Let's see where Nvidia's at. Nvidia's coming down too. Nvidia's almost red on the day, so this is like a broad swing to the downside here. Where do you see the news? Yeah, I was gonna say, Gary, where do you see that news? Hey, what's up, Tiny? Hey, good morning. Why would you take your side chick to a concert? Yeah, I mean. Hey John, if you were starting from scratch as a trader today, how would you build your knowledge? What steps or resources would you focus on?
If I'm being completely honest, I'd probably go algorithmic. At this point in time, if I was learning to trade now, I'd probably look at algorithms.
Hey, what's up, Vegas? Yeah. Again, heading into next week is crazy because we have the August 1st deadline to Friday. We also have payrolls, unemployment, and on Wednesday we got the Fed meeting. So. Volume of mortgage applications fell by 10%. The average rate on a 30-year loan was 6.75%. Order flow. What do you mean by order flow? You mean level 2? You guys know how I feel about the level 2. You know? Yeah, you guys know how I feel about level 2. It's mostly nonsense. You know? What's up, Ricky? Do you think AI would change the trading game? Of course. Again, I think algorithmically, that's what people, you know. Yeah, level 2 is just so highly manipulated. I just don't think it works. You might see orders get thrown up to trick you. There's so much nuance there, like, it's not going to work. You know, maybe time and sales, which are actually filled orders, but even that's hard to read, and it moves so quickly. The edge is so difficult to see or use. Yeah, markets turned. They were pretty green to open up the day. Nvidia's almost flat on the day. It's right around that level now. Gold, just trying. No, I don't know anything about them. MC. Not really my style. Oh wait, Barnes & Noble has a stock? I like Barnes & Noble as a place. But as a stock, I think it's terrible. Time and sales footprint. Yeah, footprint charts are incredibly valuable, I think. And some other stuff too, for sure. I like those. I'm not against those. Yeah, that's what I was asking, just what you mean by volume profile. I like looking at volume, but I don't like level 2. Time and sales is fine. Footprint charts are valuable. So, yeah, those are fine. They may have misfiled the last 2 years of earnings based on some errors in accounting. All right, guys, we got 23 minutes left. I disagree, Nick, but we can always agree to disagree, brother. It's how it goes. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm sitting tight waiting. We got 20 minutes. I typically do better after the bell, so I'm just kind of sitting tight. I either do better like really early in pre-market or after the opening bell. The last hour before pre-market, I honestly usually don't do that good. And then as long as I can wait, I typically do much better after the bell. As long as I can wait 5-10 minutes. Yeah. XRP. Dogecoin. A lot of stuff's doing pretty well in crypto. Consolidating now, not really getting any good edge, I would say. All right, still testing this bottom range here. Gold's been pumping up. SPY is up there. Tesla was green. A lot of stocks turned red just now, though, with this move. Tesla still very green on the day, but like Nvidia's right at that previous closing price. Look at it right here. It's at 172.40. Chamath Palihapitiya mocks critics after profiting from S&P and Mag 7 trade. It's called leverage. He made a post about trade ID he had on all the. He suggested going long on the S&P and SPY, shorting. And shorting the Mag 7, which we refer to as the mean reversion index trade. This trade turned out to be a lucrative one, according to Palihapitiya, the Mag. So he went long on the SPY and Q, which hold the Mag 7. But then he shorted the Mag 7? I don't understand it. Maybe it's like a hedge trade. I guess that's possible. Y'all could explain that trade to me if you have more information, but yeah, I mean, we could certainly run. I think we tapped down just below 23.2s. Have you ever used anything other than Top Steps level 2? Yes. Brother, I have been trading for 10 plus years. Well before a Top Step or anything else. Like, I've tried the level 2 on Toss. I've tried the level 2 on a lot of different platforms. It's just, I'm just not a fan of it. I think it's kind of like a placebo effect almost. It's highly manipulated, highly random. I think people push and sell courses on it to try to sound smart because it's so nuanced and difficult to understand that, you know, they just make people waste time trying to analyze it, though. I'm not saying, like, I like volume profile aspects. Like, I like footprint charts. I like volume generally. But yeah. So I'm not against you. Maybe you can make it work. I just, you know, for me personally, it was a lot of nonsense. All right, so we're very sideways here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 minutes of sideways, completely like choppy. Look how small this range is over the last 12 minutes. Look at that range. That's tiny, tiny. All right, so now we're dropping down here. Nvidia now technically red on the day. We're still coming down some. Yeah, everybody's different, exactly, William. I'm not really judging anybody for, you know, how they want to do it. It's all good. Volume analysis paired with market breadth. Yeah. All right, so crypto firm BitGo confidently files for US IPO, or confidentially, sorry. Tesla, Piper Sandler, Tesla regulatory credit risks overstated. Piper Sandler reiterates its overweight rating and $400 price target on Tesla. Saying regulatory credit concerns are overblown. While Tesla received $3.5 billion in credits last year, equal to its free cash flow, the firm expects $3 billion this year, $2.3 billion next year. A modest decline despite U.S. plans to reduce EV incentives. Piper Sandler sees no need for major estimate changes. We also have some news regarding Bank of America. No U.S. recession or Fed rate cuts this year, according to Bank of America. They expect the U.S. to avoid a recession, and they don't see any Fed rate cuts this year despite market hopes. Strong consumer spending and rising goods inflation show continued resilience. The bank says, noting June retail sales beat expectation, they warn against politically motivated cuts, arguing they could de-anchor inflation expectations and increase credit risk. Looking ahead, they expect a slight rise in jobless claims, stable housing and data, and 11% drop in durable goods. Do y'all agree with them here? No rate cuts this year? I hope they're wrong. Yeah, look how small of range we are here. We're not doing anything. It's kind of boring. We got 14 minutes left until the open, though. Let's see what happens. All right, we're back up to 242s. Let's see if this level holds. I almost want to short it, but with the sideways volatility, I think I'm just going to wait. $12 left. Prime Day did terribly this year, right? All right, so the UK will reportedly have to pay the European Union a percentage of value of any weapons being purchased from the UK firms as part of the EU-led defense deal. Yeah, I mean, we're heading up. Again, I wanted to see if this 242 level held, and look at that. It did. Not, at least so far. It might continue back up. A lot of this probably has to do with tech stocks rebounding. Nvidia bouncing back up, staying green. Tesla bouncing back up, staying green. Amazon bouncing back up, staying green. A lot of stuff bounced right at the previous closing price. You can kind of see an example of that on Amazon as well as Nvidia. So that's what's driving this rebound back up here. No rate cuts in July, rate cuts 6 weeks later, and we'll be too late. Yeah, I mean, I tend to think we're going to cut in September, but that could always change. We get worse inflation data, they're going to push it back again, I think, if we get worse inflation data. Like, say August inflation data comes out, which I believe it comes out the second week of August. Yeah, it could be a problem, you know, and that might push back the odds of rate cuts this year for sure if we get worse inflation data. But it depends. It really depends. Should have shorted that 242 level. I don't know. The range is so small, it's hard to get any reasonable profit from it. Like, this is like 7 ticks, 6 ticks. It's hard to maximize that profit with such a small tick amount. Yeah, gold's been moving up all morning. Almost to 3,400. I think 3,400 is a big milestone level for gold too. You know, so I'm looking at it, but it's close. All right, 9 minutes left, chat. Again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate the love. Thanks so much. You think gold breaks 3,400 at the open? It might. It's close enough. Yeah, I mean, the market hasn't really moved much in the last 30. It's been slow. We're trying to cover it, but... My favorite coin is up 3x for the week. What a great coin. Yeah, a lot of crypto were up big, like XRP, Doge. A lot of stuff's up. Kind of slowed down though. Alright, so we're now popping over that level here. This 643 level. So we're starting to see some bullish action. Let's see 250 up here. If we weren't so close to the opening bell, I might consider shorting 250 again. But I gotta let that opening like volatility play out first, I think. You know. Gold used to move inverse to the NASDAQ and it's not. Now it's both moving up. Why so? Because gold never moves 100% in either direction. It depends on what the market fears. So gold can move. Gold only moves inverse when there's deep fear. It's kind of like the Dixie, you know. All right, guys, 7 minutes here, 7 minutes. Give me your last minute predictions. Looking at our poll we did this morning, we got almost 1,000 votes. 46% say red week, 54% say green week. Let me know what you guys think we're going to get here for all this. Market will tank. I'm guessing yes. I still kind of want to short 250, but I'm going to wait, I think, right now. Coinbase broke all-time highs last week as well. Where's it at right now?
All-time highs on Coinbase. Ooh. Ugh. 434s. Yeah, we're at 426 right now. 444s. Kind of a slow open this morning here. We used to trade tulips. Who? Not the U.S. It wasn't the U.S. that did it. It was Dutch towns. The Dutch Golden Age. It was the 1630s. It was from 34 to 37. So, 3-year period. Or maybe it was in the US. Hold on, let me see. No, it's not. It happened in the Netherlands. Wait, what? Yeah, Sam, sorry. I got so much stuff I have to do. It's just I can't really get to. I'm reading a lot of the comments, but sometimes I just can't get to answering them. I appreciate you, Sam. You know, thank you, sir, for being here. Shout out to you, man. 4 minutes left. Did you look that up? I didn't look it up originally. My original answer, I didn't look up. But, you know, when you run a live stream and we got 800 people here, I'm trying to make sure I don't look like an idiot. I mean, I sometimes do anyway, right? But I back check a lot of what I say to make sure it's accurate. Because while I think I know something, you know, there's a very famous quote from The Big Short. And it goes, I might butcher it, but it goes something like, it's not the things that we don't know that hurt us. It's the things that we know with 100% certainty that just aren't true. Or something like that. It's some type of variation of that. It's like, it's not the things we don't know that hurt us. It's the things we know with certainty that just aren't true. Something like that is the quote from The Big Short. And it's not from, I don't know who originally said it, but it's very true. So I just try to back test what I say, back check what I say to make sure I'm not looking stupid. You would too, if it was you, you know. Hey, thank you. I'll wait for the first 5 minutes to play. I trade very small in the first 15 and then we up it. But I usually wait at least 5 minutes. And I did not look that quote up. I have that quote in memory because it's a good quote. NASDAQ's pumping up. Good thing I didn't short 250. It's too close to the opening bell. We got 2.5 minutes left here, chat. Now I gotta look up who said that quote. Alright, let's figure out who said this. Mark Twain is who is credited with this. Mark Twain. I think that's what it says on The Big Short too. It says Mark Twain. The quote goes, "It ain't what you don't know that gets you in trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so." Mark Twain. It says, although Mark Twain is linked to it, actually the most likely original source is Josh Billings, who was a 19th century American humor writer. He said, "It is better to know nothing than to know what ain't so." Josh Billings. Yeah, I think Twain fixed it up a little bit better. But Coinbase coming down. Let's see where Bitcoin is. NASDAQ over 250 into the opening bell. We got a minute left. Chat, a minute left.
Yeah, I look at levels mixed with volume, mixed with trend, is what I try to do. Heading to the opening bell in 1 minute. Remember, I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Sometimes I trade and lose off stream and you might not see it. Can't guarantee anything. Understand CFTC 4.41. Don't copy me. CRISPR the editing, CRISPR editing. I think it might be the future, which is a scary thing, if that's what you're talking about. All right, we're up to 254s. All right, here we go. Here's the open. I use the 200 exponential mostly, which is right here. Volume weighted average price as well. I'm sorry, guys. I got to turn that bell down next time. It's too loud. That's way too loud. All right, there's the opening bell. NASDAQ getting bullish ahead of it over the 200 exponential. NVIDIA pushing up to 173s. Remember, all-time highs on NVIDIA are 174.50, so we're only about $1.25 or so away from all-time highs in NVIDIA. NASDAQ got some strength here. All right, guys, we're 1 minute into the day. I got to wait about 4 minutes. We do have NVIDIA moving up. Tesla moving up. Apple moving down. Meta moving up. Microsoft pretty much flat. Google moving up really nicely at 188.70s at the opening bell. We hit that 288 level and then rejected here. Let's see if it holds, though. Strength is coming in. We are about a minute into the day. Google's still pushing. Tesla pushing up a little bit, but pulling back some. Look at that 288 level hold. All right, we're testing 288s. Tesla coming all the way back down after it pushed all the way up to 338 at the opening bell. We do have some other stocks that are running right now, though. Google up big. Hit 189.20s. AMD pushing up. Microchips pushing up. NVIDIA came all the way back down, though. NVIDIA has now turned. Look at NVIDIA. Now red on the day. Look at this. So NVIDIA's turned red. AMD's still up, though. Microsoft's pretty much flat. Tesla's coming down. Amazon's green since the opening bell. Kind of retracing some of those losses. Apple's starting to get green too. Yeah, we're about 3 minutes into the day. I still can't trade. I gotta wait at least 4 or 5. NVIDIA down pretty significantly here. In terms of the Mag 7, Google up, Microsoft up, Apple up since the opening bell. Tesla's kind of flat right now. Three and a half minutes into the open now. Rounder, sounds like you're a little delayed on the stream, brother. Hit the live button next to the play button, bro. We are now into the opening bell, sir. Nvidia creeping up. Tesla coming down though.
We're getting very close to the all-time highs here. All-time highs are 309, or wait, I'm sorry, actually 320. We're at almost 300 now. We're about 20 ticks away from all-time highs. I'll try to buy a pullback to 288s, I guess, but we're gonna trade small. And we need a dip or we're not gonna catch it. A lot of stuff's turning down. Apple's still pushing up though. Again, check out Top Step if you want to learn to day trade. It's just the cheapest way to learn, in my opinion. I'm biased because they're a sponsor of mine, but it's genuinely good for traders. Helps them learn how to trade with less risk instead of risking thousands of dollars funding your own account. You can risk 50 bucks if you're good enough to pass it. You can start taking payouts with a 50K funded account, 90% split. It's the best of both worlds. Limited risk, similar reward to funding your own account. Check them out. Great way to help support the channel. You can see it pinned at the top of the chat. All right, so we hit 309s here. I'm going to start buying this up just because we're so close to all-time highs. And so I'll take a longer term averaging in position here just because we're so close to it. We'll see if we can get into the green and then add more once we do. There we go. I'm gonna add more here. Take half off there. Try to ride the rest, break even. Here we go. We're very close to all-time highs. There we go. Here's all-time highs. I'm gonna cut it right here at the top. I don't like attacking the high of the daybreak. I like instead attacking the test of it. I've said that many times. We're just too close. We just broke all-time highs on the NQ again. New all-time high is now 24 even. 23,324 even. Again, that trade worked out really well. Once I get within 10 ticks in profit or more, usually is what I add to my winning position. That way I can hold the rest break even if it goes against me, and then I can ride it up. Yeah, I mean, I'm already out of the trade, AT. I'm already green. Again, we went long down here. Again, I have a video on how I do this, right? Like, if we're around a big milestone level, i.e. the all-time high on the NASDAQ, right? I don't want to buy it here at the all-time highs. I would rather buy it in the range, not here really, hold on. I'd rather buy it in the range leading up to these all-time highs. Why? Because a lot of the time people start taking profit once we break them. As we're kind of dipping down now, you can kind of see it. But one of the more higher probability principles here is that, like, once we start to get within a range of these all-time highs, right around this range, at least a test of it right here becomes super probable, in my opinion. Not always. It's you know, you just have to read it. And so, yeah, you better believe I bought it up here, rode it up to the highs, and sold. And it worked really well. You know, worked really well. And I think it makes logical sense, too. But everybody's different. Maybe it doesn't to you. And if it doesn't, don't trade it. It's all good. Yeah, I mean, it might continue higher. Again, it's just not as... I don't find the high of the day break as reliable. But it looks like it's going to test it here now. It might continue higher. I really have no idea what it's going to do. But, you know, I don't have to take every trade, and I don't necessarily like it. Sometimes we break all-time highs and then fall all the way back down. Not always, but we do it enough for me to not want to take it. Yeah, Apple's pushing up. Apple's up to 214s right now. Google's also pushing up. Google broke highs as well if you take a look at Google. Google's up to almost 190s. All right, so crypto link stocks rise. Bitcoin is going up after the stablecoin bill. Gold's over 3,400 an ounce. It's kind of rising with the NASDAQ here. Or no, actually, I'm sorry. It's not over it. It's close to it. It's still rising here, though, with everything else. Where's Bitcoin at right now? Bitcoin back up a little bit. That's good. Tesla at 331s. Is there something sound bad? MindMed, is that still a stock right now? It is, up to 920s. Mushroom stock. I just don't know that market at all. Is there something wrong with the audio, guys, or is it just this one person? You're fine? Alright, good. Audio's fine? Good. Alright, cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't really like either one right here. I already made the long trade that I had at the open. I don't really like shorting anything at all-time highs either, though. Apple's really strong. I'm gonna put 350 up there. I'm trying to just look at natural pivot points in these. I'll look at these three. Alright, good. Alright, so we're still creeping up here. I'm watching 350s. Maybe I'll try to short like a scalp up there if we tap it. But we got to get up there. Little baby trade. We got close enough to 350s where I might add one more, but it's a risky trade. I just want to see a dump. There we go. All right, we're gonna cut that. Nice. Goes to show, like, 350 is like a new level, right? But you could look at psychological levels and they make sense. Like, this is all-time highs right here, but somehow I knew we would reject at 350. How do you think I knew that? Because it's a psychological level. I try to explain this to people. People miss it a lot of the time, but, you know, Gold's still edging closer. It's 70 cents away from 3,400 an ounce. Yeah, Apple tapped 314.87. 314.87 for Apple. Why don't you look at bigger time frames? 5, 15 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour. I do. I have multiple monitors. The bottom monitor I have is a ultra wide monitor, so it spans from here all the way over here, and I have a lot of different charts, time frames, everything on that one. So I look at a bunch of different stuff. I just show you guys the 1 minute because it's the most short term that I like looking at. So yeah, Apple got up to 314.87. It's 13 cents away from 215 or 214.87. Sorry. All-time highs on Apple are 260. Still got a ways. Look at this rip over this too. Let's watch 275 now. SPY up. Look at gold here too. Gold just tapped over $3,400 an ounce. Big surge coming in. Wow. Let's watch 275 now. I mean, I don't think Nasdaq's just pumping because it's all-time highs. Like, this is just kind of what happens. Alright, so here's 275. We might just blow past this one. I think we got to look at 400 now. Gold now up to 3402. Gold all-time highs are not that far away from us either. 35s for gold, about $100 an ounce away. Yeah, I don't want to chase it either. I'm just kind of sitting tight in this. Nvidia's coming back too. So this is mostly driven by, I would say, Apple and Google strength. Tesla's down since the open. Apple's up a lot. Nvidia's fighting its way back. And Google is very strong. Google at 191s right now. So look at Google. Or 190.50s, I should say. Not 191s, but over 190s. Who said dump at the open? Not me. So, yeah, I mean, gold and silver are going to follow each other some. Nvidia fighting its way back. Apple finally pulling back a little bit. It's at 214.70s. Tesla coming back up a little bit. It's at 331s. Google at 190s. Nasdaq looks like it wants to hit 23.4s.
Let's see if 275 holds. Nvidia back up to 173s or close to it. Apple's still dipping down though. Let's watch this 400 level. Maybe this 400 level is reasonable. Google's still heading up. Nvidia's still testing. Look, we're up too much for me to want to trade it. All right, maybe we're going to start turning, but look at Google back up to 190.50s here. Again, you can kind of see Nvidia start to creep up with like a U-shaped recovery. Apple pulling back a little bit. Tesla consolidating around the previous closing price, has been holding support, but Google, guys, is just pushing. It's at 190.50s here. Very strong. All right, Google broke highs of the day again at 190.69s. Where's the SPY all-time highs? SPY all-time highs we're breaking all-time highs on the S&P and the NASDAQ right now. A large fire. Oh, never mind. That's not really big news. All right, so we're consolidating around these highs here. Nvidia's pushing up though. So look at Nvidia, and we have this level on our charts, which was previous all-time high. But look at Nvidia's strength showing up. It's a little bit more mixed. Google's pulling back now. AMD's pulling back. Nvidia's pushing up. Apple's pulling back. Tesla's pulling back. But all right, so now we're starting to dip down. All right, we're dipping down. We're at 172.60s. NASDAQ's finally starting to turn back down some after breaking all-time highs on the S&P and the NASDAQ. Yeah, I mean, shorting all-time highs, like, I might scalp it, but you definitely don't. I mean, it just surges of volume, surges of volume, surges of volume. Like, it's fine if you get some confirmation, but this is not really confirmation on the short side, I would say. I'm not interested in shorting long-term shorts up here. Yeah, I mean, I think we can push back up to test 23 force. S&P just broke all-time highs again. So, y'all just be careful. Again, I'm just hanging out now. Again, if you want to check out Top Step and day trade some of this craziness, the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, Gold are all tradable. Commodities are all tradable. No PDT rolling futures. Just a better way to learn. Beautiful way to learn how to day trade because your risk is $50 a month for the base one. If you fail, it's $50 loss. It's not 5K, 10K, 20K like a lot of traders end up making. And if you pass it, you get a 50K funded account, 90% split. It's similar to funding your own account. It's the best of both worlds. Again, I'll put the link up one last time. I'm just kind of sitting tight waiting, so shameless plug here. It's only my third plug in 3 hours, so I mean, there's the link. Check it out. Great way to help support the channel. Not an investment professional, not liable. If you lose, understand all the stuff. NASDAQ's getting ready to maybe retest this all-time high at 3,400. I think that makes sense too. I think 34. It depends on if Nvidia, this cup and handle on Nvidia continues. But look at the SPY rip in the S&P, breaking over all-time highs. There's 3400s. It's mostly driven by Nvidia and Google. Google's testing the all-time high level again. Or not all-time high, but the high of the day level again. I mean, yeah, I mean, I think Nvidia looks strong here. Tesla's coming back down, though. Tesla just broke lows of market open, and so it's dragging the market down. Yeah, I mean, usually I talk about what happened previous time, but I'll make sure to do that next week when we have all that data. President calls for the end of cashless bail. Why? I don't know. I believe in giving people second chances. I think the private prison industry is one of the worst industries in the world. Lobby against a lot of things that should be happening, and just, I don't know. All right, guys. I'm probably gonna sit out for the rest of the morning. I've had a couple good trades.
Now we're kind of moving sideways over the last 10 or 15 minutes. Just nothing really is going on. It's now 10 a.m. We don't have any economic data. Tomorrow we got Jerome Powell speaking at a banking conference at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to be streaming that live as we always do. So be ready for that tomorrow bright and early. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Thanks so much. I appreciate the love. Y'all hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We will be back bright and early. So just be ready. I'll see you guys then. Love you all. Have a great day. Be safe. Stay safe in the market, guys. And, yeah, we'll see what we do for the rest of the day. Good luck. Yeah, y'all stay safe out there. I mean, let me see if we get a final push here for all-time highs. NVIDIA looks like it's coming down under the previous closing price. So NVIDIA is actually technically red right now on the day. Tesla's been dipping down too. But this looks like a push to 3,400, so let me see what happens here. It's 10 a.m. We had the leading economic indicators showed up at minus 0.3% versus minus 0.2% expected. A little weaker than expected. All right, there's 23.4s. SPY broke all-time highs. One more push. Yeah, I'm just going to watch this one more time. You know, like there's 23.4s. Hey, see you, Tiny. Have a great day. Yeah, y'all be good. Y'all get along in chat, bro. Y'all can agree to disagree. There's so much variance in trading. Who cares who's right or wrong? You know, people are going to be right or wrong on any individual day. It doesn't freaking matter. Y'all be safe, man. All right, guys. I'm going to get out of here. We just broke all-time highs again. We tapped 23.4s. All right, now I'm leaving. Y'all be good. Love you.